Okay, I'm back, and this has just barely dried enough that I think I can get away with it. And There's a little spot on this corner that's looks like it's not quite there, but I'm still gonna go forward. So now what I'm doing, obviously, is peeling up the tape. So you're like, okay, fine, very cool. Yes, very exciting for me. Not for you, just for me. Okay. Uh, and This is where I OCD'd. This is what happens. Always keep paper towel and lots of toilet paper. Oh, I'm going to talk about that in a sec, actually, once I peel this up. Um, so let's see. And you want to be a little bit careful, especially if you've let this hang out like overnight. I've made the mistake of not pulling up these things when they're letting them hang out for, I don't know, a week or two or a month, and then it's like, oh wow. We're not going to stress too much if some of the paint snuck under there. That's not the point of this. Now this is where it gets weirder. Is I'm gonna have you guys basically put, and I really thought about like how can I show this to them in a way that like makes sense. But take a couple pieces of paper. I'm just using ordinary typewriter paper on this one, and I want it close to the edge, but not too close. And because I sort of like hoard stuff, I'm gonna probably use a couple pieces of tape to just kind of tape it down. This will all make sense in a minute, okay? I feel like somebody who's trying to explain why they've, been caught doing something not good. But for once, I am relatively innocent. And so I'm just tacking it down a little bit. And my real purpose is that I don't want the colors around this to affect how I paint. All right, now my next thing is I'm going to just try to make, instead of doing a gradient, I'm going to try to make just a flat one color, as consistent a color as I can. And I'm looking around for my little I'm thinking a little flat brush would be a nice thing, and of course they've all run and hidden from me. Here we go. This will probably be all right. I'm seeing them. So there. So something that'll fit in there pretty nicely. And pick a color, any color you want, and depending on what color you pick, this thing's gonna look pretty different. And it's really just to raise awareness about that. So raise awareness for color differences. So in this case, I'm going for yellow ochre. This is a color I use a lot. And all I'm trying to do, and I want to paint all the way up to the white, and just, I don't want to go over too much, although it's not that big a deal. You guys saw me messing around with the other, it's just an exercise. Don't stress. But it's actually once again, my own exercises are kicking me in the ass, because I'm like, wow, this is hard. Trying to make it consistent now. So it's all about controlling the paint. We can't control anything else in our lives, but we can control paint somewhat-ish if we really try and work really hard and practice. And no, paint is actually easy compared to everything else. Oh my god, you guys. If everything goes completely haywire, I throw out this piece of paper and we just never speak of it again. Okay. And lots of different ways to go about it, but you do want to do this fairly quick, because if you let it dry, then you'll get weird little lines and it won't blend as well. So that's the main takeaway from that. Okay. And just kind of, and I'm just, again, I'm just looking to do like a flat one color. Nothing fancy. Okay. All right, now I'm going to pull this, take this up, and we're going to see what has happened. And this is where it gets kind of cool. And I wish I'd gone a little bit. Here comes the OCD. But do you guys notice a little something happening here? Oh, and I shouldn't have done that because I'm probably throwing it off. But when I was like this, right? Do you see how this is all basically one flat color, right? And then when I pull it back, I'm looking for my little paintbrush so I can blend this again. One flat color, you will be. Okay. But then when I pull it back, it's subtle, but it's there. Swear to God. Notice how which end looks lighter and which end looks darker. And so I'll save that for us to, so which end to you does the left side look lighter or darker compared to the background? And does the right side look brighter or darker, lighter or darker compared to the other? This next one is going to be kind of like, almost, we'll see. And if you have thinner tape, this will work even better. And I'm just going to do the same thing. I know I'm going to get that wet if I do that, but I'm just going to let that go. So hard being OCD. And same dealio. And this time I'm going to choose, I think, debate me. I'm like, do I do purple? Do I do green? I'm going to do a purple. Let's see what we get. Okay. I don't use the purple that often, so. It's interesting to look too, like what paints you run out of the most, and to kind of consider like, oh, maybe I'm in a painting rut. And consider like, maybe I should try to use those colors a little bit more. And expand the repertoire kind of idea. I think in this case I'm going to go for more of a light purple. This with the yellow ochre, I put it on pretty thick. You know, it was almost acting like a gouache. It was so thick. So this one I'll do a more transparent type thing. And just trying to like get it as consistent as possible. You know, that's one of the dialogues actually going around with many of my friends and me is like, how do you be consistent? You know, a friend of mine just started to shack up with a guy who has like 3 kids. And so there's all of a sudden our conversations have turned into like, oh, hi, you know, I think she'll be awesome. He better be nice to her. All right, well, he'll be getting a piece of my mind. But as far as I can tell, he's awesome. It's hard to tell, though, because they're in New Zealand. So I can't oversee this quite the way I would like to. Now I can see, I'm like, all right, I need to make this a little darker on this end. Just, again, trying to get this stripe in the middle to be as consistent as possible. If you have tape that's like skinnier, go for that. It'll be even cooler. Because it'll be more influenced by what's going on. And almost there. But yeah, consistency in painting and child rearing and horse trading and art. It's like, uh, just keep showing up. I have been talking a lot about this book I recently listened to called Atomic Habits, and that's been pretty cool. And I bought this journal to try to track my habits because I decided I don't really have many bad habits, but I need to cultivate more good, consistent habits on things. And that's definitely, so far so good. We'll see, but at least it's a very simple system, and that simple is good, simple is doable. Once we start to get really complicated, things get kind of cray. One of my heroes is a woman named Temple Grandin, and she's influenced like 3 different fields in a major way, like the slaughterhouse, meatpacking industry, slaughterhouses. She designed slaughterhouses, animal behavior and understanding animal behavior, and autism, because she's a high functioning autistic person who normally especially would have been just institutionalized, and this woman has contributed so much to the world. It's just insane. And some people, she's pretty well known, but it's kind of people either know about her or they don't. But she's always talking about looking for the one variable that counts and focusing on that. So what I'm trying to do is create this as my consistent piece part. It's getting really smeary. What I would do is let this dry a little bit and maybe go over it again if I wanted to really go for it. But in this case, I'm going to just pull that up and take a look and see, where does it seem darker and where does it seem lighter. And, this is just a cool exercise to both learn how to control your gradient, but also how to control when you want it to be a flat color, because there's definitely place for both of those elements in shading things. And this is one in the middle. I would say just have fun with it and do whatever you do you on this one. In fact, I'm gonna go for it and just I'm like, all right, I'll do the orange. And just see. Now this one's kind of interesting too, because it would be, it's equally going to be influenced by both of these colors. And so you might be able to see variations between the top and the bottom, or how it intersects those elements. It's also kind of close in the same family, of course, as the yellow ochre. And then I'm gonna use and then I'll use my paper and see, like, okay, did I get that consistent because it is consistent, because I did that consistent, or did I get it, or was I, just subconsciously adjusting because of the different gradients going on behind it. And we'll kind of see, But yeah, this one really changed a lot. I mean, it almost looks like 2 different colors from one side to the next. And yeah, I don't know. Let's check it. Yeah, I'm a little darker here, but this is also a good little technique too to see, like, when you isolate your colors, or when you put something else, actually even better than this white paper, because white is such a strong, light. It's the whitest white, right? And it will influence things a bit. Even better if you have like a medium gray paper, that you can use if you want to kind of create little isolation areas, just to sort of see like, what does that color look like when it's not next to something else? And that'd be awesome. And some colors will change a lot, some will not. And it also depends upon lightness and darkness or value. So, yeah, and this is a great example. And again, I highly encourage you. Don't feel like you should do the colors that I do. I would say do anything but the colors that I did. See how different, like this is the challenge for you guys. Like see how different you can get the color on one side to be versus the other side. And I mean, it'd be awesome too. Like you could sometimes, if you really, you can look out and get something that where it doesn't even look like it's the same color. These are more what I would call value shifts rather than color shifts. But it's all good. It's all great for being informed on the world of shady shade. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, last but not least, if you were worried about the toilet paper situation, fear not, because I have toilet paper dolls and they have toilet paper in them. And so I have a few more days supply before Costco restocks. And I have 2, thanks to my little sister, Erica. So have a great day and stay stocked up on toilet paper. Take care.